Well, if you follow me on this channel, you know that I went paperless in 2019. I scanned all the documents and I shredded the rest. And I kept doing this forever, but the pain point remained. It's the organization of the documents that I scanned. We are still stuck to the folder structure. It's always a pain to go through the scanned documents. There are dedicated tools out there, but they're either this expensive or clunky to use. And today, everything changed. And it's called Claude Cowork. I've been using Claude since it appeared, and I switched from ChatGPT to Claude and never looked back. We also used Claude Code to build our own application, as you know now, as myICOR. But the amazing thing is that Anthropic, the company behind Claude, make it more and more accessible for the public, and it is much more useful than the normal ChatGPT things that you can get there. And with Claude Cowork, this becomes a real useful thing for professionals like you and me. Getting back to the document organization, I want to show you what you can do now and how I'm using Claude Cowork to organize my documents moving forward. So here you see my scanner inbox. I'm using the ScanSnap IX1300 to scan all my documents. If you want to have a separate video about this, let me know in the comments below and I show you the hardware side of my scanning process. But all I need to do is put in the paper, scan it, and it directly uploads it into the scanner inbox folder on Dropbox. Obviously, you can also use G Drive or whatever. And here it's now locally available on my Mac thanks to the Dropbox synchronization. You can have this with so many other cloud services too. Or you directly scan it obviously to your Mac, which is also possible. But I always ended up with this. Just some random titles. They're usually not good because everything is in German. It doesn't get the right transcription. It's not doing a good job with OCR. And then it's just confusing. So in the end, I have to open each individual PDF to look what it is and then move it into the right folders that I have based on my current folder structure. Today, I was shocked when I then opened up Claude and I just gave it a go for the Claude Cowork. And all I asked was go through the scanned documents and provide a folder structure and move these PDFs into the right folder structure and rename them so they all make sense. And here it is what it made. I think it's amazing. So you see here, scanner inbox copy. All I did was just copying the scanner inbox folder. So I had a folder to test it with. And here you go. It made insurances, it perfectly organized everything into the different folders, but it also renamed everything so it actually makes sense what there is. And that's just a glimpse of what you can do. But to get started, I will show you quickly how this works. As of doing the video right now, Cowork is only available to people with the Max plan. I'm not sure if it is available for anybody else. Well, I'm on the Max plan. I'm leveraging Claude a lot. I'm even on the $200 Max plan as I'm using it also for coding. But this is not about coding today. So the difference to the normal chat first is the normal chat, you can add files from the Google Drive or so on. You can add files. It has also access to email and so on. You can ask questions through MCP. But this means you can only ask questions about a specific set of files that you upload to the chat. Cowork is actually interacting with your folders on your computer. That's the big difference. And then we have Claude Code. Cowork is just Claude Code with a fancier UI. You were able to do all this, what I'm sharing today, already with Claude Code, but that's not so accessible for the non-nerdy people out there. And that's why I'm really excited that we now get this Cowork interface right here. And here you already see some recommendations what you can do, and organize files is already there. And then you can say my downloads folder, my photos, desktop screenshots, duplicate files, and we can go through the things here, and then gives you a custom prompt. It really makes some hand holding here. Organize and tidy up, and then you say folder and files, and what is in the brackets you replace. And here you can actually choose these folders. And I see already the recent thing. You see here scanner inbox copy. And now let's actually choose in this scanner inbox copy old. Okay, there are a lot of previously uploaded scans. Most of them don't even have a title, and let's see what we can do with them. And I can now say organize and tidy up those scans. Well, review the scans in this folder. I like to make usually a checklist for the AI to work with. So first review the scans in the folder, organize and tidy up those scans. And you can make new lines by holding Shift and Enter, and then you can add a new line this way. Review the scans in this folder, update the file names with descriptive titles, starting with date in format, and then organize and tidy up those scans. And the thing is, I know in this folder there are also JPEG, so images. Let's see if this also works to convert those into PDF files. And then ask any clarifying questions and share a plan of how you approach this task. Maybe we are using Sonnet 4.5. Let's see how far we get, because it has a much bigger context window for all this content that it needs to load in. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so the amazing thing is that you get these questions to provide feedback. That's the best way to ensure that AI actually gets it right. So how would you like me to determine the descriptive titles for each file? Should I open and read the content of each document, or would you prefer a different approach? See, I was expecting that it would go in and read each document to make these titles, but it's great that it asks me if it should do this. Other AIs would just go ahead and not doing it, and then you realize this afterwards. So it is really asking smart questions. Read each document and create accurate titles. What should I do with the many multi-page scan sets? Okay, it even recognized there are multi-page scans. So let's use this. It merges into one PDF. How should I organize the files after remaining? Oh, well, that's interesting. See, I didn't even think about it, but it makes sense with all the files that I have in there. See, that's the trouble with folders, that it's hard to make sense what folder structure is best. Well, let's use both here and type. So now it comes up with the plan where it goes through the different phases in order to accomplish exactly the task. That allows you now to review if this is the right approach from your opinion. Whenever you see something that it misunderstood, now is the moment where you can write down any changes. You see, we have 230 scanned files. Let's see how good it will be to organize all these scans. So now it's updating the to-do list. If you go here, it should now, there we go. Here's the to-do list. I could now ask questions or recommend a change to these different steps, and here's all the things that now Claude is going through to work on it. Here you now see it created a file with a skill that it actually created itself in order to work through all this. This saves a lot of context window, and this skill could be used in the future to doing the same job over and over again. If we click on this, it opens up the skill and you see the details. But even if if you're not into the details, you don't need to go there. But here you see exactly the skill that it created in order to process my PDF files. And now I can really go deeper into the code and I can make any changes. And this skill can then be reused by Claude in the future to give you always the same results. And here it's always checking, before it deletes something, it's asking you. Now it's going through all these. And it's amazing. You see, it's just called Raven Scan. As I had the Raven Scanner back then, you see that's 2023. Even these old scans are there. It's a pretty tough task. Let's see how it will manage to actually read all these. The amazing thing is with all the scanners today, even if you scan it with your phone, it gets OCR'd already, which means that the text in the PDFs get recognized, and that makes it so much easier to search for information. And that was already very useful, where I didn't care so much about the title, because if I needed to search for something, I just searched for anything inside this PDF and it brought it up. But now I can leverage AI to make a proper organization of all these files. So now I can literally just scan and forget and automate this process of organization later on. So you see what it already did. It already converted all the images to PDF. It merged multi-page scan sets into single PDF files too. And now it's reading and analyzing the PDF content, which is probably the biggest task to do. So currently it's just working in this one folder. So if we open up this folder, we should already see that there are no images left. Everything is now PDF files. Let's see if we can open them. Boom. We can perfectly open all these. And this was previously all images. So without, downloading a software to install and then convert images into PDF and all this, this is not necessary. I just ask AI with plain text to help me with this, and it goes way beyond, as you can see. So now if you question if it is worth $100 or $200 for Claude Max plan, if I consider all the time that I invest doing all these admin things and the money that I could generate investing this time into something of value, to me it's a no-brainer. I mean, others are hiring people in order to do all this manually. And to be honest, these are the jobs that are in danger, because that's something you can do this way. And even better because, well, if you would now say, yeah, but AI makes mistakes, like it even says down here, Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Well, humans can do too. And I saw this all over the place working with other people and my own mistakes that I made in the past. So I don't know about the discussion here. It's trusting a computer in this sense, but I'm sure if you don't jump onto this bandwagon, then you're missing out a lot of opportunities. Okay, it seems it's nearly done. So it renamed all the files, created year based on folder structure, move renamed files, verify organization, and create summary reports. And it's done. All done. Your documents are organized. 159 JPEGs are converted to PDF. 33 multi-page scan sets merged into single PDFs. All original JPEG files removed after conversion. It read all 119 PDFs with OCR text extraction, created descriptive names, handled both German and English documents, created year-based folders, categorized into 8 types, all files copied and organized structure. Okay, so let's have a look. So the thing is, it created years, and for each year it created the individual folders, but you see that most of them are empty because they were just individual documents. To me, this is not helpful at all because I need to now look through the different things. Obviously, if I would now need to find something specific, then I would go to 2021 financial. So it uses the same folder structure all the time, but it might have been more useful to just create folders if needed and maybe organize it in a different way. So let's see how Claude can help us for better organization. Okay, my idea is now to use Mac, the tagging system on the Mac itself, because you can tag files that are local. So I could now better find these files just having them sorted by year. Obviously I have the file name and then I can search by the tags. Here you see it recognizes itself that some have still generic names and they should need to be improved. So it's great that AI picks up mistakes or things that it forgot and go back to it. But the amazing thing is, it's not an automation that you create and refine, and there's a lot of technical things. Here you just have a back and forth until it works. But the big difference is it's repeatable, because now you can have a skill out of it that ensures the next time you want to organize something, it makes the right things, all based on your internal workflows. Okay, now it moved it into yearly folders, but here it still just says document. Let's see if it can make an OCR for us. I love how it explains this, now you have the README file that explains how you have the folder structure, all the things that you would need to manually do when you set up things like this. Okay, so let's ask if this is possible. The question is, we are on Sonnet 4.5, if we could have received better results using the Opus 4.5, but you see already with this smaller model, we get already great results. Okay, see, it finds OCR tools in order to make this scan automatically. It installs this without, you noticing anything. But in the backend, obviously, it builds an application for itself. And now you can keep using this. So it installed the tool that is necessary to make OCR on these files. And now it runs it. So you can always open this up to see more details. You see the code that is running. So just if you're interested in it. But it's not necessary. That makes it so accessible now. See, it keeps track. Now I could go here and add something to discuss this task, but not necessary. Let him work. Okay, it finished. Let's check. And there we go. It updated all the files. Now we have proper naming for these files and they became searchable where they've never been searchable before. How amazing is this? And when we open up the txt file here, there you see how it organized the things. And here's the README to understand how it is organized. And that's all you need. See, now if I go into these folders, I see for the different years the files, thanks to the naming, it is ordered in the right date organization. The tagging inside the file makes it easier to find. I was referring to these tags. Let's see in the future if it is possible to this. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, not something I will cover in this video. But you see, it perfectly organized everything. And now I could, for example, say, create folders only for these categories that actually have files available in this year or something like that. And now I can go back with all the documents that I have from the past and go through everything again. However, before I do so, I want to say to refine its skill, okay? So the next time I want to process a folder with scanned documents, I want to ensure it does exactly the same things that we discovered during this session today. All right, so now I'm asking it to update its skill MD file, which ensures that it will do the same thing over and over again. And it was the first time for me to refine these things more, so I had some conclusions that I wanted to update for the next run. It should first analyze the scanned files in the folder to get just an overview, then convert image files into PDF, merge multi-page scan sets into one PDF, run OCR, optical character recognition, on any PDF files that have no OCR applied, and then organize all files into the respective folders by year. The file names should be, and here now I made some changes, so I want to have the year, month and day in front of it, then the company name that this document is from, the content info, let's say content description, addressed person name, who is this document for, and document type tag, something that it added already. Let's see how it will react to this, because then I said reanalyze our folder to ensure it aligns with those rules. So I'm curious now if it will update the skill, and then we will see if it will work the best way possible. Okay, it seems it's not possible to update the skill automatically, but it creates now a document organization guide, which will be added to the folder. So this means the next time I'm scanning something into the folder, it will look up these guides inside the folder and gets the instructions this way, which is amazing. It's the easiest way to handle all these things, obviously, because now we are just on our file and we will have just a few documents that you should never delete. And then when you send AI there, it will read these things in order to understand what it should do inside the folder and how to organize it. See, now it recognized that it should update the naming conventions, and let's see if it is possible to do so. So it's using sub-agents, which makes all the sense. It's not doing all itself, but it is outsourcing it. So it's not filling up the context window in here. And I really love how transparent everything is, so you understand what it's doing right now. Instead of just saying sending request and you keep waiting here, you can always click here, fix all file naming, and then you see what's doing, 7 steps, and there you see what is going through right now. And right now it's reading file. So I love this breakdown to really see some progress going on instead of just this loading. Yeah, and here we are. It finished and it went through the whole thing. It's not 100% perfect. It also shows me that it came up with some other naming examples that it came up with, and I see everything got updated. But this being said, remember the starting point. It was just a plain list of things, and let's go back to compare it to what we had originally. That's what we had originally, okay? Just random files, images, loads of images, PDF files, random naming, no organization whatsoever. Going from this to this, already just having the context of the year, and then I can go in here and finding everything, plus having all the images converted into PDF, plus having some page sets that were scanned, merged into one PDF, and now I can perfectly scan for these documents, simply searching for something like, see, now it finds all the things because we have now OCR, and I can perfectly search my Mac and find the documents this way. Did you know about this? Are you already using Claude Cowork for this? Let me know in the comments below. How do you use AI in order to help you with document organization? I'm really excited. I will certainly share a lot more about what you can do with Claude and then with AI in general when it comes to improving your productivity. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. And if you haven't already, join us in my ICOR so we can discuss further how we can leverage today's tools in the best way possible to max out our productivity.